Hi everybody, it's Nikki here and welcome to another video of mine. It is Bookgammon time! Yes, this is where I use the game Backgammon in order to help me pick my TBR for the month. So if you don't know what Bookgammon is all about, I will link the playlist for you in the description box down below. Please check out January 2021's video if you want to know the majority of the rules. There's been a few add-ons since then, but that will give you the main gist of how I play this game. So this game is now 1 year old. Yes, can you believe it? We've been doing this together for 1 year, and I have got to say on reflection that when I first came up with the idea for Bookgammon, I was a little scared that nobody would know what the hell I was talking about. And to be honest, a few of you have commented, I've never played Backgammon before, have no idea how to play the game, but I really enjoy watching you play Bookgammon, which is a play on the words of backgammon. And I will say that I have thoroughly enjoyed playing Bookgammon because of my love of the game Backgammon. And one of the reasons why I wanted to use this game was because I don't get to play it often enough, because my family, who I try to teach the rules to for Backgammon, they prefer Monopoly. Let's just say that. They prefer Monopoly. Causes family arguments all the time, but they are more of a Monopoly type of game or a card game type of family. So yeah, I don't get to play this game that I love so much, apart from every month when I play Bookgammon. It is my most watched video on my channel every month. That is how much you have embraced this game with me, and that makes me so happy, not because of the views, but because you love this as much as I do, and that makes me I love it. I love this time of the month. I love when I get to play the game. I love when I get to choose my books. I love getting to show you. I kind of even like it when Bookgammon is mean to me, because I know that you enjoy that as well. It adds a little bit of spice to the game as well. And let's be honest, she is mean to me quite frequently. I mean, the first time I played Bookgammon, she gave me the Count of Monte Cristo to read. So, you know, she's a bit mean sometimes, but we love her for it. So yeah, I did play her in December, and I did not. I only had a small TBR. But I still didn't get to the 2 Nutcracker stories that I had on my TBR. We had the Disney's Nutcracker and the Four Realms book with the gorgeous foiling, and we didn't get to Midnight in Everwood by M.A. Kuznia. I didn't get to either of these two, sadly. I realised halfway through the month that there was a couple of books that I really wanted to get read in December that I hadn't put in the pile for December's TBR, and they were to finish off series that had been going on for far too long, that I should have had finished by now. So I read those instead. Otherwise I probably would have got to these two. And as of filming today, it is the 1st of January today, so Happy New Year. I am halfway through these Hollow Vows. So yeah, I'm halfway through this book, exactly halfway by the looks of things. Really enjoying it, but this is probably going to be now my first book that I finish in 2022. How nice is that? Beautiful Fairy Loot edition. Okay, so let's get down to business for January's TBR. First of all, we have our bomb book and our star book to pick out. So if you don't know, the bomb book is a book that I'm not wanting to read, either because it intimidates me, it's a book that I've been putting off reading for a long time, a book that I always pass over when looking through my TBR, and I really just need to get it read, or it's a last chance kind of book that, you know, I either have to read it or unhaul it and make a decision on it. And the star book is one that I really want to read. I'm very excited about it. It's maybe a new purchase I'm really looking forward to. Maybe it's a sequel to a book that I gave 5 stars to previously, and you know, I'm really excited about it. So what are the bomb book and the star book for January, you may ask? Well, my bomb book, let's start off with the worst one, is Muse of Nightmares by Laini Taylor. Now, this is not a bomb book because I don't want to read it or because I'm intimidated by it, because like it is a chonker. The reason why this is a bomb book is because this is the second book in a duology. There's only 2 books in this duology. Whole point of being a duology. And I read Strange the Dreamer, I think, either at the beginning of 2020 or even as far back as 2019. And yet I still have not picked up Muse of Nightmares. What is that about? Like, why do I do this? There's only 2 books in this duology, and yet I still haven't picked up the second book, even though I gave Strange the Dreamer 5 stars. What is that about? So the bomb book is this one because, like, read it, like, now. My star book, however, for January is another sequel, but I remember more about the first book for this one than I do of Strange Dreamer, and that is The Jade Bones by Laini Forbes. 2 Lainies. Anyway, coincidence. So the first book to this one is The Seventh Son. I believe this is part of a trilogy, so 3 books, and I believe that the 3rd book is coming out in 2022 this year. So I really do need to get to the 2nd book in this trilogy so that when the 3rd book comes out, I can purchase that one and hopefully read it sooner rather than later, because this is a thing I do. So without further ado, let's get into the gameplay, and then you can come back and see what books I will pick for January's TBR. Okay, so we have a brand new board. I did want to paint these colours, but my painting skills are not that great. So I did just use pens instead, so they're a lot brighter this time than they used to be, and you can see we have 2 new triangle spaces that have no colour in them, and these are the e-book spaces. So when I land on these 2 spaces, I have to read an e-book, but it can be any genre, and that's hopefully going to help my ebook reading for 2022, which is obviously as one of my goals for 2022. So let's remind ourselves of the categories. We have red thriller, pink contemporary, orange classic, green middle grade, yellow's graphic novels and manga, purple non-fiction, and blue is fantasy and sci-fi. I was hoping to redo the bomb book and the star book tokens, but as you can see, these are the old ones, but we'll play with them for now. So let's find out which space the bomb book and star book are going to be taking part on. So here's my number generator. So for the bomb book, number 17. So it's on the contemporary space. So if we land on that, we don't pick a contemporary, we just read the bomb book. And then for the star book, number 10. So it's on another contemporary space. Well, that's good for me because it means I might have to read less contemporaries. I also redid my prompt cards. So now we have these cute little stickers for the colours and some new prompts. And these cards are all perfectly aligned because I actually bought a pack of blank cards so that I could create my own pack. So yeah, I don't have many, but we'll see how we go, and then I will try and create more as the year goes on. So let's give these a shuffle. Okay, so first roll. A 2 and a 1. So number 1, which is a non-fiction, and number 2, which is a fantasy. So our first prompts for 2022, the non-fiction is a hardback, and the fantasy is a Cassandra Clare book. I need to work my way through them, so that is why this prompt is there. Roll number 2. A 5 and 2. We'll move this one 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for a manga or graphic novel. We'll move this one 2. 1, 2 for a contemporary. So our contemporary prompt is to read in the daytime, or read in one day, in a day. And the graphic novel is next in series. Good, I have plenty of series that I'm in the middle of in my graphic novels, so I can easily fulfill that. The reading a contemporary in a day might be a challenge, but we'll see. Roll number 3, and we're very close to this star book and the ebook. Oh no, double 6. So odd numbers, we do go forward, so that's fine. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that is a red, which means it's a thriller. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is a blue, so that is a fantasy. And the prompt for that, for the thriller, it is a library book. So that means I need to go to the library. And the fantasy book is based around or on water. Could be a mermaid book, could be a pirate book, we'd never know. Or could be something entirely different. So yeah, that's that one. Roll number 4. Yes! Woo woo! We got a 1. So I can land on the star book. Yes, I got it. First month in January. Yay! This beats last January when Bookgammon gave me the Count of Monte Cristo. This time she's being nice to me and she's made me land on the star book. And then, so that's that one. And then this one goes 2. So 1, 2. So that is a classic. So we're not going to pick the pink prompt. For contemporary, we're just going to pick the classic, and that is my oldest on my TBR. Roll number 5. A 4 and a 6. Okay, let's do that. We'll move this one 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's blue for fantasy, and we'll move this one 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Another classic. So the prompts for this one, the classic is a name in the title, and the fantasy is a fairy loot book. I definitely need to get that pile down. So roll number 6. 2 and a 5. Doesn't look like I'm going to land on any of the ebooks anytime soon, does it? You know what, I will move this one 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're going to read a contemporary, and 1, 2, we're going to read a manga or graphic novel. So the contemporary is set in Europe, so England, France, Germany, any of those European countries. And then the manga or graphic novel is Husband's Choice. Now, do I let him just choose from my manga graphic novel collection or from my whole collection? I'm going to have to think about that one. Roll number 7. 5 and a 2. Okay, let's move this one 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So sadly, no ebook. And this one 2. 1, 2. So that one gets home. So we just have a fantasy for this one. And the prompt for that is paranormal characters. So werewolves, vampires, angels, anything like that. Okay. Oh no, just the one dice for the final roll. 4 and we're home. So that is it. That is our January's Bookgammon TBR first game of the year completed. So that was it. That was the gameplay. She played really well. Do you like the new board, do you? I had so many plans for that new board and half of them didn't come to fruition. But hey, we're here, we're playing, and I really enjoyed playing it again. I missed it in December because Scott played it for me. But yeah, so that was all the picks. That was all the gameplay. So let's see what I've picked to read. So for roll number 1, we got a fantasy and a non-fiction. For the non-fiction, I had to choose a hardback. Now the problem with that is the only hardback non-fictions that I have left are actually kind of reference books. So they're not really books that I would want to read from front to back. So what I did was I used this as an excuse to go onto Amazon and purchase myself a new non-fiction book. I was going to purchase it at Waterstones, but it was a little bit more expensive, so I decided against that. So the one I've picked is this one. I hope you can see that. It is Greek Myths, Meet the Heroes, Gods and Monsters of Ancient Greece, and it is written by Jean Menzies, and I believe that she is a YouTuber. So yeah, I'm very happy to purchase that book. It looks really awesome. So yeah, that will be the non-fiction hardback book. Hopefully it will be the kind that I can read kind of from front to back through. I don't think it's that many pages, she says. So 160 pages, so it's not going to be too long, and I can read that hopefully pretty quick. And the fantasy book prompt was a Cassandra Clare book. So for that, I have decided to read the Bane Chronicles. This was on a TBR late 2021, and I never got around to it, so we're back again. This is written by Cassandra Clare, Sarah Rees-Brennan and Maureen Johnson. It is literally just some short stories about Magnus Bane from the Shadowhunters stories. I know he's a lot of people's favourite character. He's not my favourite character. My favourite character is Simon. I'm sorry, I'm a Simon love. But I do really like him. I fell in love with his character in the Shadowhunters Netflix series. I think the actor who plays him just has his character like down to an art form. It will be nice to read some more about him and maybe I can fall in love with him even more. For roll number 2, we got a manga graphic novel and a contemporary. So for the manga graphic novel, we needed to read the next in series. And for that one, I am going to read Heartstopper 3. Well, obviously I've read numbers 1 and 2. It's a very cutesy LGBTQ plus graphic novel, and it's set in the UK, so you know, English schools and everything. But it's about 2 boys who form a relationship and just their story going forwards. The contemporary prompt was to read a book in a day, and the only way I can possibly read a contemporary in a day is if it's a romance novel. So I picked Courted by the Captain by Anne Harris. It's a Mills and Boon Harlequin Regency romance. I can read this pretty quickly. I fly through them. They're like a guilty pleasure. So yeah, this one is a war hero seeks rich heiress. But apparently he cannot think about anything but penniless Jenny Hastings. So yes, he's looking for somebody rich and he ends up with somebody poor because, you know, love is for everyone. So yes, we're going to read that one. For roll number 3, we got a fantasy and a thriller. So for the thriller, the prompt was to read a library book. And because obviously with my foot and everything, trips to the library, it would be awkward. So I have chosen to turn to my trusted Amazon Fire. So from my BorrowBox app, which is my local library's online app, I have ordered Gilded by Marissa Mayer, which says, all magic comes at a price, but love wasn't part of the bargain. I believe this is kind of like a King Midas retelling. So I'm very excited to read that one. And as I say, it is a library book because it's from my library's app, so it counts. And for the fantasy, the prompt was based around or on water. Now, I did think about getting a mermaid book. However, I have to read this particular book for my character prompts to fulfill the magical readathon hosted by G from Book Roast channel. So back end of last year, I think either August, September time or something, I took part in the magical readathon, and part of that readathon was there was a couple of prompts that you chose to fulfill according to the character that you were creating. I will link that video down below somewhere. And this was one of the books that fulfilled one of the prompts. So it is The Devil and the Dark Water by Stuart Turton, and I believe it's about an impossible murder, a remarkable detective duo, and a demon who may or may not exist. Now, after reading The 7 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle by Stuart Turton, I know that nothing is as it seems when you read his books. You think you know the story you're reading, and then right at the end he'll put in a twist, and you're like, oh, it's one of those. So I'm expecting weird and wonderful things from this. It is one of the Waterstone special editions with the beautiful edges. So I'm very excited to read this one. For roll number 4, we got our star book. We landed on the star book. So I get to read The Jade Bones by Laini Forbes. I am so excited. Finally, I get to read this. So grateful not to have to read Muse of Nightmares, let's be honest. So yeah, I get to read this in the month of January. And our other prompt was for Classic, which was my oldest on the TBR. Now, I will say that I did kind of cheat on this one because my actual oldest on my TBR really didn't fancy reading. I just really didn't fancy reading that one. And I've got to be truthful with myself. If I'm really not in the mood to read it, am I really going to put it on my TBR? So the one I actually ended up putting on was Little Women by Louisa May Olcott. I thought that because we're still in the winter months and this has a little bit of a Christmas wintry kind of setting, I thought this would be more fitting to the season. So yeah, I'm going to read Little Women, about some Little Women, I suppose. I'm joking. I know the story of Little Women is about 4 sisters. I think it is. Yeah, so Meg, Jo, Beth and Amy, and them being sisters and growing up falling in love. So for roll number 5, we got a classic and a fantasy. The fantasy was to read a Fairy Loot book. And again, this is another book that fulfills a character prompt for my magical readathon, and that is Forest of Souls by Laurie M. Lee. I figured I might as well get these into my reading for January so that they're nice and ready for the next round of the magical readathon. So this is a story that is says, I have no family, no home, no talent other than fighting. If I'm not to be the shadow, then I am nothing, and I am tired of being nothing. So I believe the character Saoirse, her best friend Sengo dies, and then she is able to bring him alive again, and there's something about a Spider King and a forest, and it's going to be, sounds quite dark and mysterious, and I'm excited for it. So yeah, Forest of Souls. And for the classic with the name in the title, I'm going to read Dr. Dolittle, and if you know what this character is on the front, then I love you. It's not a llama. So this is written by Hugh Lofting, and yeah, I love the old musical film for this, not the new one with Eddie Murphy in it. Just take that away, okay? The old one, and I can't remember the actor's name in it. But I absolutely love the old musical film, and I remember watching it with my mum when I was a kid. And this is a short classic. I'm hoping to still get the audiobook for it, because I do tend to listen to my classics on audio. But if I can't, it's only a short one, and the writing isn't too small, so I will probably be able to read this pretty quickly if I have to read it physically. But yeah, I'm hoping to read Dr. Dolittle. So for roll number 6, we got a contemporary and a manga graphic novel. For the contemporary, the prompt was set in Europe. So I went for the story After You by Jojo Moyes, which is the sequel to Me Before You. Now, I read Me Before You a long time before the movie came out, and I really, really enjoyed it. Broke my heart at the end. Then I watched the movie and broke my heart at the end again. And when my good friend Charlotte was offering this, if I wanted to read it, I said, yeah, I'll pick it up and continue the story and hopefully enjoy this as much as I enjoyed the first book. My feelings with contemporaries have changed since I read the first book, so I'm not sure if I will enjoy it as much, but yeah. And for the manga graphic novel, the prompt was husband's choice, so I will put a little clip in now of my husband choosing a book. Okay, so husband's choice, I've decided he can choose from any genre, so as long as the book is not upside down on my shelves, you can pick it. So as long as it's the right way up, you can pick it. What are you gonna pick? I'm gonna say that's book 4, and I've only read book 1 of that series so far. So if you want to pick from that series, you have to pick book 2.
Yeah. Going for the biggest one, just to be a pain in the bum.
Thank you very much. Love you too, sweetheart.
Well, I can't just pick you that book, can I? You'll get that
No,
done
it's upside down.
30 seconds.
Yeah, true. He's really thinking about it.
It's blue, that one.
So he has chosen The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. Because it's blue.
Yeah.
So that was close. Yeah, when he picked up one of the Wheel of Time books, I was like, no. Please no, please God no. But thankfully he put that one back, and he chose The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. This is, I believe, the Forbidden Planet edition. So it's all blue, and that's basically why my husband picked it, because his favourite colour is blue. So this is a story about a young woman called Addie LaRue, who is desperate and makes a desperate deal in the dark, a bargain to live forever but be remembered by no one. And then one day she is remembered. And the story goes from there. I've heard a lot of good things about this book. A lot of people really love this story. So I'm excited to finally get it on my TBR and hopefully read it in the month of January. And our final roll number 7, gave us a fantasy. And for that one, the prompt was paranormal characters. So I thought of no one better than Dracula. But this is not Dracula. This is Dracul by J.D. Barker and Dacre Stoker. The person. So this is inspired by the notes Dracula's creator left behind. So this says 1868, 21-year-old Bram Stoker has barricaded himself inside the tower of a long abandoned abbey. He's armed with mirrors and crucifixes, holy water, some white roses, a notebook and a gun. His only solace is a bottle of brandy. His fervent prayer is that he will survive the night. So apparently speculation still surrounds what was in the missing first 100 pages of the original Dracula. Inspired by the notebooks and journals Bram Stoker left behind, Dracul takes us back to the very beginning to reveal what drove him to write one of the most terrifying stories ever told. If you don't know this about me, Dracula is my favourite classic I've read so far. It is my jam, it is my love. I have quite a few editions of Dracula now. So when I saw this in Waterstones back in 2019, 2020, something like that, it's also got black sprayed edges. I knew I had to pick it up because this is just more of that gothic, dark, sinister vampire love that I enjoy. So yes, it's a chunker. She is a chunker. She is over 500 pages. But I cannot wait. I keep meaning to read this around the October time, but you know what? I keep missing that time period. So we're going to be reading in January while we have dark nights and cold winter mornings and stuff like that. So yeah, I think I can get away with reading it over the month of January. So yeah, that is the last book that is on my Bookgammon TBR. That is it. That is my Bookgammon TBR for the month of January. That is 13 books. 13 books. Might not get to all of them, can I say. I do have a couple of really short books, so that might help. So yeah. But also in January, obviously, I will have a book for my Waterstones book club that I go to. I might not be able to attend January's meeting. I might not. I'll see how I feel on the day. So I won't know what that book is until I either go to the meeting or I get notified as to what the book is. And I also have my buddy read with my good friend Charlotte, which we do every month. We kind of took a break in November and December at the end of the last year. I can say that today. Just because Charlotte was hitting a reading slump, so we took a bit of a break. But we are going to be reading Graceling by Kristen Cashore for January. So this is the start of a series that has been out for many years, I believe. When were you published? So this was published in 2008, so it's an old series. And it just says, a world where people born with an exceptional skill known as a grace are both feared and exploited, and Katza carries the burden of a skill even she despises, the grace of killing. So, yeah, it's going to have a great magic system, great character work, hopefully, and we're going to be reading that together. So that is a total of 15 books going to be on my TBR, potentially. And I'm looking forward to it. Nothing like starting January off with a bang. So that is it. That is my TBR for the month of January. What are you reading in January? What is the first book that you want to finish for 2022? Start off good or start off with something quick? as I say, I think I'm going to finish these Hollow Vows pretty quickly because I have half of it to finish. So shame I didn't get to finish it in 2021, but time ran out and it's 2022 now. So that is it. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.